I still leave the porch light on at 7, like you're just running late from work again. The kettle whistles habits I can't bury, and the silence is a death that never ends. I caught my breath seeing shadows in the kitchen, but it's just the way the moonlight hits the floor. I'm talking to the air, expecting answers, but you don't live behind this skin no more. The calendar is frozen on a Tuesday. The coffee's getting cold inside your cup. I'm living in the we were and the used to, and I'm terrified of finally waking up. Now you're just in in the heart, a flicker in the corner of my eye. I'm reaching out for hands that aren't daily, just a hollow hello and a long goodbye. I've memorized the rhythm of your footsteps, but the floorboards never creak under your weight. You're the heartbeat of a house that's slowly dying, and I'm the one who's staying up too late, just a ghost in the hallway. And I'm haunting every room we ever made. I tried to paint the walls a different color, but the memory of your laughter bleeds right through. I'm sleeping on the left side, right on the edge now, afraid I'll crush the fading scent of you. The neighbors think I've finally moved on from it. They don't see me dancing with the dog. Every time I try to find a new beginning, I find another place you left your mark. Are you trapped here in the drywall, or am I the one who's stuck behind the glass, building shrines out of the things you left behind you, waiting for a phantom pain to pass? But ghosts don't have a heart to hold me, and ghosts don't have the words to tell me why. You're just a ghost in the hallway, a flicker in the corner of my eye. I'm reaching out for hands that aren't legally, just a hollow hello and a long goodbye. I've memorized the rhythm of your footsteps, but the floorboards never creak under your weight. You're the heartbeat of a house that's slowly dying, and I'm the one who's staying up too late. I'm staring at the three dots on the screen that danced for a second, then went white. The sentences we killed before they started are the only things keeping me awake tonight. The middle of a thought is a lonely place to live, like a bridge that stops halfway across the sea. I'm holding all the words I meant to give you, but you're not here to take them back from me. We left the coffee brewing on the counter. We left the record spinning in the groove. It's hard to find the rhythm of a new life when the old one still has so much left to prove. And oh, it's the weight of the unfinished conversations, the I'm sorry's that I swallowed in the hall, the questions that are hanging like the pictures that we never got the chance to hang on the wall. We're a book that's missing every final chapter, a melody that ends on a broken key. I'm still talking to the space you left behind you in this house of unfinished conversations. And I walked past that cafe on the corner, the one where we argued over nothing at all. I wanted to call and tell you I was wrong then, but I know you wouldn't answer if I called. Now I'm rehearsing lines in the shower, solving problems that don't matter anymore. Just a monologue delivered to the tiles while I'm waiting for your key to turn the door. Is there a place where all the end things go? A quiet room where I love you still rings true, because I'm drowning in the draft of a letter that I'll never have the heart to send to you. It's the weight of the unfinished conversations, the I'm sorry's that I swallowed in the hall, the questions that are hanging like the pictures that we never got the chance to hang on the wall. We're a book that's missing every final chapter, a melody that ends on a broken key. I'm still talking to the space you left behind you in this house of unfinished conversations. Wait, I forgot to say, I never told you why. It doesn't matter now, does it? Just another line left hanging. Just another goodbye. I still reach out when the 4 a.m. light starts bleeding through the cracks of the blinds, but my hand only finds the cold cotton sheets and the echoes of the life we left behind. I haven't moved your pillow or the book you never finished. It's like a border I'm afraid to cross. I'm sleeping on the edge of a memory, calculating every inch of the loss. The laundry's done, but I left your sweater. I can't bring myself to wash away the scent of the always and the forever, and the way we never wondered where your side of the bed. Sometimes I leave the door unlocked by habit, thinking maybe you just went for a drive. And I'll hear the floorboard creak in the hallway, and the house will suddenly come alive. But the silence is a heavy, heavy blanket, and the gravity is pulling from the right to the empty space where you used to breathe. In the middle of a long and lonely night, I'm colonizing half a world of linen, trying not to drift into the gray. But even when I'm dreaming, I can feel it, the way you're slowly drifting away. It's just a desert of white fabric now, staring at your side of the bed. It's an ocean, it's a canyon, it's a ghost. It's the quietest part of the wreckage, and the part that hurts me the most. The mattress hasn't forgotten your shape, but the room is getting colder instead. I'm a king in a kingdom of nothing, watching shadows on your side of the bed. Good night to the space, good night to the air. I'm still here, but you're not there. Just a cold, empty side of the bed. I'm sitting 3 inches away from your shoulder, but it feels like 1,000 miles of road. We're staring at the screen in the dark of the kitchen while the dinner we made is turning cold. I try to remember the frequency of us before the signal started getting weak. Now every house, your day hits a wall, and we're losing the language we used to speak. I'm reaching for your hand in the dead space, but the air feels heavy and thick, like a radio station lost in the mountains, just a hum and a rhythmic click. Now it's just between us, white noise where the music used to be. I'm shouting through the snow on the television, but you're looking right through me. We're two different storms on the same horizon, broken wires and a muffled trust. There's a beautiful song buried somewhere under all this static between us. The silence isn't peaceful, it's jagged and loud. It's the sound of the things we won't say, like how we both know that the I'm checking the cables and looking for light, but I'm losing my broadcast of you. Is it solar flares or a change in the wind? Did the tower fall down while we slept? 'Cause I'm holding the ghost of a dial in my palm and a promise that wasn't kept. I'm standing in the driveway, watching taillights bleed into the gray of morning rain. I held onto the rope till my palms were raw, but I only succeeded in holding the pain. I practiced my speech in the mirror for months about boundaries and space and the truth, but I waited so long for the perfect moment that I used up the last of our youth. The frame is already shattered, I'm just trying to save the glass, trying to learn a lesson that I've already failed to pass. Oh, I'm mastering the art of letting go. Too late, the house is already empty, the fire's out in the grave. It's a beautiful dance, but I'm so on stage, trying to finish a book when you burned every page. Yeah, I finally learned how to give up the ghost, but only after I lost what I needed the most. There's a box in the basement of someday and soon, and the ring that I hid in the drawer. I'm finally ready to tell you I'm sorry, but you don't live at this zip code no more. They say that there's power in finding the end, in choosing to walk toward the light. But I'm just a soldier surrendering now to a war that ended last night. It's like trying to catch a falling leaf after it's turned into dust. It's like trying to polish a wedding bed after it's eaten by rust. I'm finally letting the anchors up, but the ship has already sunk. You're mastering the art of letting go. Too late. The house is already empty. The fire's out in the grave. I'm releasing a hand that's already moved on. I'm saying I'm over it now that you're gone. It's a beautiful dance, but I'm solo on stage, trying to finish a book when you've burned every page. Yeah, I finally learned how to give up the ghost, but only after I lost what I needed the most. Too late to be brave, too late to be kind. I'm finally leaving, but you're already hard to find. I'm letting go, I'm letting go. But there's nothing left to hold. I found it tucked inside a dusty journal, between the pages of a life we used to lead. A square of glossy paper, white and chemical, recording every promise we didn't need. We're standing on that pier in late September. The wind was tangled in your messy hair, but the edges are beginning to turn yellow, like the oxygen is eating what was there. I'm holding it up to the kitchen light, trying to catch the ghost of your smile. But time is a thief with a steady hand, and I haven't seen your face in a while. Now it's just fading ink on a Polaroid, a memory losing its shape in the sun. I'm watching the colors bleed into the void, until I can't tell where we started or why. Your eyes were blue, or maybe they were gray. It's getting harder to remember every day. I'm holding on to a frame that's becoming a ghost of the version of you that I love the most. I remember the smell of the salt and the cedar, but the picture is turning to silver and smoke. trade every now for one back then, just to feel the weight of your hand. But the chemicals failing, the story is done. It's just fading ink on a Polaroid, a memory losing its shape in the sun. I'm watching the colors bleed into the void until I can't tell where we started or what. Your eyes were blue, or maybe they were gray. It's getting harder to remember every day. I'm holding on to a frame that's becoming a ghost of the version of you that I love the most. Just a white square, just a blur of skin. I can't remember where your laugh begins. It's gone. It's all gone. I'm sitting on the edge of the porcelain tub while the moon draws shadows on the floor. I'm listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the way you don't walk through the door. I used to have a shoulder for the heavy rain, a hand to catch the drops before they fell. But now I'm the only witness to the breaking in this hollow, quiet, lonely shell. There's no one here to say it's gonna be okay, no one here to wipe the salt away. So I'm holding my hands like a silver bowl to keep the pieces of my breaking soul. I'm just collecting my own tears tonight, saving up the only thing you left behind, a liquid map of everywhere we went wrong, a bitter rhythm for a lonesome song. I'm filling up the jars on the windowsill with the I love yous that didn't keep us still. Since you weren't here to see me drown in the blue, I'm collecting my own tears instead of you. I remember how you'd kiss the corners of my eyes and tell me that the world was far too loud. Now I'm screaming in a room of total silence, lost inside a single person cloud. The mirror shows a stranger with a heavy gaze and cheeks that haven't been dried in a week. cheek. They say that water washes everything clean, that the rain can make the garden grow again. But I'm just building an ocean in the dark to remind me of exactly where we end. It's a heavy harvest, it's a lonely trade. I'm just collecting my own tears tonight, saving up the only thing you left behind. A liquid memory of everywhere we went wrong, a bitter rhythm for a lonesome song. I'm filling up the jars on the windowsill with the I love yous that didn't keep us still. Since you weren't here to see me drown in the blue, I'm collecting my own tears instead of you. One for the porch light, one for the bed, one for the things that we never said. I'm running out of room to keep them, I'm running out of reasons to weep them, but I'm all I've got left. I'm walking through the aisles of the grocery store, and I see that brand of coffee you used to buy. I almost turned around to ask if we needed more, before the ghost of the truth hit me in the eye. I went to call the dog in from the garden shade, and the first syllable slipped out before I knew. And now the garden feels like a debt that won't be paid, and the air is heavy with the shape of you. It's only 4 letters, a simple little sound, but it's the loudest thing when there's no one around. I try to bury it deep in the chest of my gold, but it's a story that refuses to be told. Now I'm just living in the echoes of a name, ringing through the hallways like a quiet flame. I say it to the pillow, I whisper it to the rain, trying to find the person behind all of the pain. It's a vibration in the walls, a frequency of grief, a memory of a thief who brought me no relief. I'm haunted by the vows, I'm broken by the frame, just a lonely heart living in the echoes of a name. I saw a friend of ours at the park today. They started to ask how you've been getting on, but they tripped on the word and looked the other way, because they know the oxygen of us is gone. Even the ink in my old address book seems to bleed a little more when I pass that page. It's a holy word that I'm forced to overlook while I'm pacing back and forth inside this cage. If I scream it at the ocean, will the tide take it back? If I write it in the dust, will it bags. I'm afraid of the ghosts that might decide to sit. The neighbors think I finally found some quiet. They don't know the ringing in my ears is loud. It's the sound of every song we'll never get to sing, lost inside a dark and heavy cloud. They say the time is a metronome, steady and slow, but my clock broke a year ago. Don't you know I'm waiting for the beat to drop, waiting for the hook, but you closed the cover on our only songbook. The silence was a landslide, heavy and deep, on the day the music stopped and the world went to sleep. No more harmony to hide the cracks in the floor, no more bass line thumping through the bedroom door. I'm reaching for a chorus that'll never come back, just the sound of the static and the fade into black. Yeah, my soul hit a wall, it couldn't get topped. On the day the music stopped, slowly fading. 1, 2. I lost the count. 3, 4. You're out the door. The melody's gone. The rest is just silence. The sun is crawling sideways through the curtains, but the shadows on your pillow haven't moved. I'm whispering good morning to the ceiling, to a version of us that we never got to prove. We fell asleep inside a golden promise, dreaming of a house with a yellow door. But I opened up my eyes and found the winter, and you don't even dream of me no more. I'm shaking your shoulder, but you're miles away, lost in a kingdom where I can't stay. The coffee is steaming, the world is in bloom, but it's midnight forever inside of this room. It's a love that never woke up, a heart in a haze, lost in the thick of the one of these days. We closed our eyes when the feeling was deep, but some things are meant to stay lost in the sleep. I'm standing on the shore while you're drifting out far, tangled in the sheets and the ghost of a star. Yeah, the hardest part of the breakup was a love that never woke up. I'm looking at the photos in the hallway. Everyone is smiling, frozen in the light. But I can see the moment that the oxygen went thin, and we started saying see you instead of good night. You're breathing right beside me, but you're hollow, a beautiful statue made of marble and regret. I'm screaming in the silence of the morning, trying to find a spark we haven't buried yet. Maybe the alarm clock didn't ring loud enough. Maybe we were made of the fragile stuff. I'm wide awake and crying in the hall while you're still sleeping through the end of it all. Through the end of it all. It's a love that never woke up, a heart in a haze, symphony in a crowded room, two parts of a melody that ended too soon. I was the wood and you were the steel, attached at the bridge, making something real. But the tension grew heavy, the air turned to ice. We paid for the harmony with a terrible price. I felt the snap before I heard the sound, and watched our music fall to the ground. Now there's a hollow ring inside the shell, a story that the silence is starting to tell. I'm reaching for a note that I can't quite hit, while the ghost of our rhythm starts to quit. Now I'm just a body of severed strings, flapping in the wind like broken wings. The vibration is gone, the resonance is dead, just a mess of wire inside of my head. You took the bow and you walked off the stage, leaving me tangled in a silent rage. I'm out of tune and I'm losing my grip on a song that started to slip with these severed strings. Try to retie the knots in the dark, but the edge is afraid and they've lost their spark. Every time I pull, the gap gets wide. There's no more resonance left inside. I see you've restrung your heart with gold, playing a new song, or so I'm told, while I'm sitting here in a velvet case, trying to remember the look on your face. They say you can fix what's been torn apart, but there's no luthier for a broken heart. Once the snap happens, the wood starts to warp, and I'm just the ghost of a broken chord, tangled, twisted, torn. Now I'm just a body of severed strings, flapping in the wind like broken wings. The vibration is gone, the resonance is dead, just a mess of wire inside of my head. You took the bow and you walked off the stage, leaving me tangled in a silent rage. I'm out of tune and I'm losing my grip on a song that started to slip with these severed strings. No music, no more us, just the tension, then the dust, severed. You didn't slam the door, scream my name. You didn't leave a note to take the blame. The keys are on the counter, cold and still, like a white flag resting on the sill. I woke up to the sound of settling dust, and the sudden heavy shattering of trust. The coffee's still warm, the steam is rising high, but you're already gone without a reason why. I'm listening for a thunder that never came, looking for a spark is goodbye. I walked through the house, checking every lock, but I couldn't stop the ticking of the clock. Your toothbrush is gone, and the drawer is bare, but the scent of your skin is still hanging in the air. A hurricane is easy, you can see it on the map, but this was a silent, invisible trap. I'm waiting for the crash, I'm waiting for the blow, but you've been gone an hour, and I'm the last to know. Give me a ride, give me a storm, give me a fire to keep the memory warm, but you left me with silence, a heavy gray stone, the loudest goodbyes, being left all alone. Left all alone. It was the quietest goodbye I ever heard, not a single shout, not a final word, just the ghost of a shadow slipping out the back, leaving my world in a faded black. And sonomatic ending, no rain in the street, just the soft hollow rhythm of retreating feet. You broke my heart in a whisper so shy, and the weight of the quietest goodbye. I'm staring at the pale circle on your finger, a tan line where a promise used to stay. The gold is sitting heavy in a velvet box while you're busy packing the rest of our day. We swore that forever was a little thing, a circle with no beginning or end. But now the metal is just cold and quiet, a piece of jewelry I can't even defend. It's funny how a 3-month salary can turn into a weight that I can't carry. I'm looking at the diamond, but the light is dead, just like every word that we ever said. Now we're just living in the hollow rings, the empty spaces of the meant to be things. I'm a jeweler of heartaches, a collector of dust, watching the shine turn into the rust. It's a zero, it's a vacuum, it's a hole in the air, the shape of a finger that's no longer there. Yeah, my soul is a bell that no longer swings, just a ghost in the center of these hollow rings. I found your band tucked inside the junk drawer, between the batteries and the old house keys. It looked so small, so fragile, so lonely, like a witness brought down to its knees. I remember the day that I slipped it on, and the way that the world felt steady and right. Now it's just a symbol of a marathon that we gave up on in the middle of the night. Is it still a ring if there's nothing inside? Is it still a bridge if it's too far to stride? I'm wearing my grief like a shackle of gold in a story that's already been bought and sold. It's empty. It's empty. it's empty. Yeah, we're just living in the hollow rings, the empty spaces of the meant to be things. I'm a jeweler of heartaches, a collector of dust, watching the shine turn into the rust. It's a zero, it's a vacuum, it's a hole in the air, the shape of a finger that's no longer there. Yeah, my soul is a bell that no longer swings, just a ghost in the center of these hollow rings. Just hollow, just hollow. I tried to scrub the kitchen floor where we used to dance, to wash away the ghost of every second chance. But there's a permanent mark by the refrigerator door, where you dropped your glass and didn't love me no more. I bleached the sheets and I repainted the hall, but your shadow is soaked into the drywall. I'm trying to move on, trying to stay clean, but I'm living in a blur of what it all could mean. They say that time is a solvent, a powerful thing, that it wears down the edges of a wedding ring. But the harder I rub, the deeper it goes, like a dark heavy ink that only the heart knows. Now I'm just living with the stains on my memory, a messy map of who we used to be. It's a spill of regret, it's a blotch of the blue. I can't find a version of me without a trace of you. No matter the soap, no matter the years, I'm just sitting in the dark with the salt of my tears. Yeah, my soul is a fabric that'll never be free from these stains on my memory. I saw a movie today, just a random scene, but it triggered a flashback, vivid and mean. Suddenly I'm back in that booth at the bar, watching the light hit the faint little scar on your knuckle, on your heart, on the way that you spoke before the forever we promised finally broke. It's a smite on the lens, it's a blur in the light, keeping me focused on the wrong little bit of gray, a little bit of red, a whole lot of things that I should have said. It's permanent now, just to stay. The taxi door clicked like a final goodbye, and the clouds started heavy in the October sky. I was standing there holding the bags you forgot in the middle of the driveway, in the center of the plot. I watched the red lights turn the corner and fade while the thunder mocked every promise we made. The water is soaking through the soles of my shoes, and I'm standing in a puddle of the nothing to lose. I'm looking for a shelter that isn't your chest, looking for a way to put the shivering to rest. But the sky is a mirror of the way that I feel, cold and gray and too heavy to be real. Now I'm just a memory left behind in the rain, washing away the salt and the stain. You're dry in the city, you're warm in a bed, while the storm is the only thing inside of my head. I'm a blur and reflection in a dark city street, tangled in the rhythm of a heart that won't beat. Yeah, you took the umbrella and you left me the pain, just a ghost getting drenched and left behind in the rain. The neighbors are watching through the slats of the blinds, wondering what kind of a soul someone finds to leave a whole person just standing in the street while the winter and the autumn are starting to meet. I'm waiting for the moment I turn into steam to evaporate out of this terrible dream. But the droplets are heavy and they're pinning me down to the very last inch of this lonely town. Does the water wash away the I love you too? Does it drown out the echo of a version of you? Because I'm saturated, I'm heavy still tacky on a ticket for two to a movie we missed because I was kissing you. But there's a jagged white edge where a photo should be, like you performed a surgery on the memory of me. You took all the sunsets and left me the rain and a paper-thin version of a heart in pain. The spine is cracking under the weight of a happily ever after that arrived too late. I'm running my fingers over the scars of the nights we spent counting the falling stars. Now we're just the torn pages of us, scattered like ashes and covered in dust. A story that's missing the middle and end, a broken binding that I'll never mend. You ripped out the chapters where I made you smile and left me the preface for a little while. Yeah, I'm just a fragment, a shadow, a trust torn out of the pages of us. I see the ink smears where the teardrops fell, a shorthand for a heaven that turned into hell. There's a receipt for a dinner in a town by the lake, before we realized forever was a giant mistake. I tried to take the pieces back into the fold, but the edges are sharp and the story is old. You can't read a book when the hero is gone and the ink is running dry in the early dawn. Is there a sequel for a ghost like me, or am I just a footnote in your history? Because I'm holding the scraps of a life we designed while you're writing a brand new line without me. Yeah, we're just the torn pages of us, scattered like ashes and covered in dust. A story that's missing the middle and end, a broken binding that I'll never mend. You ripped out the chapters where I made you smile and left me the preface for a little while. Yeah, I'm just a fragment, a shadow, a trust torn out of the pages of us. Read it again one more time before it's all gone. The end. The battery's dying on the bedside table, but I'm terrified to plug it in and lose the light. I've been staring at your contact photo for hours, the only thing glowing in the dead of the night. The digital clock is a slow motion torture, counting the seconds since you walked out the door. I'm checking the signal, I'm checking the hallway, like I've never felt silence this heavy before. I know that you deleted my number by now. I know that you're sleeping with a peaceful brow, but my thumb is still hovering over the green, while I'm drowning in the static of a porcelain screen. Now I'm just waiting for a ghost to call, leaning my head against a cold white wall. I'm listening for a vibration that'll never arrive, trying to keep a dead connection alive. You're a phantom in the wires, a glitch in the air, a digital shadow that's no longer there. Yeah, I'm holding my breath while the shadows grow tall, just waiting for a ghost to call. Through our messages back to the start, before the I'm busy started breaking my heart. I'm rereading forever in a blue bubble font, while I'm starving for the only thing that I want. The house makes a sound and I jump out of my skin, thinking maybe, just maybe, you're letting yourself in. But it's just the house settling or a car passing by, and the ringing in my ears is the only reply. Is there a cell tower in the great unknown, where the lost I misuse go to die alone? Because I'm sending out signals to a frequency of one, and I'm still standing here now that we're done. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a ghost to call, leaning my head against a cold white wall. I'm listening for a vibration that'll never arrive, trying to keep a dead connection alive. You're a phantom in the wires, a glitch in the air, a digital shadow that's no longer there. Yeah, I'm holding my breath while the shadows grow tall, just waiting for a ghost to call. Sound of a phone vibrating once. Wait, no. It was just the wind. It was just nothing. Pick up. Please just pick up. Goodbye. The closet's half empty, like a hollowed out chest. The hangers are clicking in a rhythm of rest. I moved all my shoes to the center of the floor to hide the bare wood by the bedroom door. But the sunlight still hits the indent in the rug where your armchair sat like a permanent hug. Now it's just an island of dust and of light, a hole in the world that I can't set right. I tried to buy a plant to fill up the air, but it withered away from the silence in there. It's a vacuum, a shadow, a leak in the wall, and I'm terrified. I'm starting to fall into the nothing. Oh, I'm drowning in the space you left. A quiet house is so bereft. It's the shape of your body on the sofa at night. It's the gap in the air where the world felt right. I'm pacing the borders of a ghostly terrain, measuring the distance between me and the pain. It's wider than the ocean, it's deeper than the left. I'm lost in the middle of the space you left. I went to the kitchen to make tea for one, but I stopped when I realized what I had done. I'd pulled out your mug, the one with the crack, like my hands didn't know that you weren't coming back. The counter feels miles long, cold and white, and the bed is a desert in the middle of the night. There's a pressure in the room, like a storm about to break, but it's just the absence of the breath you used to take. Is it a room if nobody's there? Is it a life if I'm gasping for air? I'm starting to expand, trying to grow, but I'm just a flicker in a house of no. The void is getting louder. Yeah, I'm drowning in the space you left. A quiet house is so bereft. It's the shape of your body on the sofa at night. It's the gap in the air where the world felt right. I'm pacing the borders of a ghostly terrain, measuring the distance between me and the pain. It's wider than the ocean, it's deeper than the depth. I'm lost in the middle of the space you left. I'm looking back through a telescope at the start, before the rust and the gravity pulled us apart. From here the fires look like gentle stars, and I can't see the jagged edges of the scars. I'm filtering out the nights we spent in silence, and the way your voice took on the edge of defiance. In the rearview mirror, the road looks so straight, but I know we were swerving toward a terrible fate. And memory is a liar with the golden pen, writing a happy ever after over and over again. I'm editing the movie to keep the best parts, and hiding the footage of the breaking heart. So it's a beautiful every single time we said a muffled goodbye. Now your ghost is a hero, your touch is a saint. I'm polishing the image until the colors are faint. It's a dangerous game, this backward glance, giving a dead romance a second chance. Is it really love if it only looks good when I'm standing exactly where I never should? I'm painting over the cracks with a brush made of maybe, and calling the wreckage a beautiful baby. It's a lie, but it's a kind one. Oh, it's a beautiful tragedy, love in retrospect, finding the treasures in the middle of the wreck. I'm romanticizing the way that we bled, and ignoring every warning that the prophet said. When I look behind me, the sun never sets. I'm drowning in an ocean of sweetest regrets. It's easy to love you now that we're through, in the long distance version of me and you. The smell of charcoal is hanging in the damp night air. I'm standing on the riverbank, but you aren't there. I struck the match because I couldn't bear to see the way that every road I took led back to where you stayed. The timber's groaning under the weight of the flame, as the orange light swallows the sound of your name. I'm watching the wood turn to a skeleton of gray, while the water carries the ashes of us away. I had to do it, I had to cut the line and stop the yours from bleeding into the mine. But the heat is stinging my eyes and my chest, and I'm terrified of the loneliness that comes with the rest. Now I'm watching burn bridges at midnight, glow like a warning in the pale moonlight. There's no going back to the island of we. I've stranded earth is caving in. I remember the first time we crossed this old beam, when the world was a promise and life was a dream. But the planks were warning and the cables were thin, and I couldn't keep letting the cold winter in. So I set it on fire to save what was left of me, even if it means I'm the only one who's free. Is it arrested if I'm still on the shore, looking at a place I can't reach anymore? The light is dying down to a smolder and a spark, and I'm finally alone in the absolute dark. The connection is severed, the crossing is gone. Yeah, I'm watching burn bridges at midnight, glow like a warning in the pale moonlight. There's no going back to the island of we. I've stranded my heart in the middle of the sea. The sparks are like stars that are falling too fast. A beautiful fire for a terrible past. I'm standing in the smoke of the choice I made, in the glow of the burned bridges at midnight. Slowly, the fire's out now. The water is black. There's no bridge left to take me back. Just me, just the smoke and a heart that finally